Good morning. Apologize for the slight delay here. Got to get everything situated, everything in its proper place. Good morning, Transformers. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. This is General Darnell, your health coach here. Woo-hoo! Welcome to the midweek with some more encouraging tips to help you maximize your health and well-being. Now, you might be asking, this is your first time through here, who is this guy and what is he talking about? I am General Darnell. I'm a USA track and field certified running coach. Started out as a couch potato in my earlier life, not active with any sports, but I have to date done about 60 races, including 22 full marathons, 21, excuse me, I'll do 22 this year, 21 full marathons, a few Ironman triathlons, ultra marathons, and all spurned out of my mom's and family members' experiences with heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and just wanting to change the quality of my health inheritance. And so I want to share with you today on Wellness Wednesdays just some tips, specific things. Today I wanted to talk about some foods. If you are like I am, it's getting warmer outside, spring and summer, which means we can no longer layer on the clothes and cover up those snacks or cheat treats that we have. It's getting warmer outside, and so you think even more intently, I need to make sure that I am kind of shaped up. Let me get shaped up for the summer. So I'm a Chicago-based running coach because it's been a little bit chilly here, so our spring is just starting on April the 25th. I'm also the founder of Elijah Running Club, which is a faith-based marathon training and wellness program. I'm a certified race director and the founder of the Faith and Fitness 5K, 10K, coming here in the Windy City Saturday, September 15th. So I wanted to talk to you today about some practical information. I know a lot of times I talk about encouragement, get started. We talked about putting your foot down last week and just deciding what you're going to press into to take you to that next level of health and well-being. And so I wanted to spend some time this week, just briefly, I don't want to hold you too long, talking to you about some practical things that you can add to your recipes, add to your food regimen that can help keep that weight in check. That's something, I mean, if you're over 35, like I am, you're constantly working on kind of keeping yourself in balance. And these talks that I give, not only about health, but from a spiritual perspective. God told us that we are supposed to be well balanced. And so anytime that we're dealing with being overweight or underweight, or dealing with sickness or disease, overcoming sickness and disease, it means something is out of balance, something is out of alignment. And so the promise of God is that He always has a strategy as we submit ourselves to His way of doing things, to His training module. As we begin to tap into that, we can turn around any imbalance that's going on in our bodies so that we're able to walk in the health and the fitness level that we are supposed to be walking in. And so today, just briefly, I wanted to talk to you about 8 unforgettable weight loss foods for runners. 8 unforgettable weight loss foods for runners. So I wanted to give you some variety. You know, a lot of times people say, I don't know about those weight loss foods. But if you've ever been in one of those situations, you went out for a decadent meal, maybe more than once in a month, or you had a cheat treat and the one cheat treat turned into a series of things you were doing over the course of the week, you understand there's certain foods that we eat that are high caloric foods that begin to add to, good morning Phyllis, thank you for joining Elijah Running Club. There's certain foods that we eat that can tend to add to our weight issues. And so I think in the same way, if we're looking to maintain a very balanced a weight level, that we need to strategically think about the foods that we're eating on a meal by meal basis, and thinking how we can incorporate foods that help us keep our weight in check. So as I'm thinking about the word, because you know I'm always using definitions for something, and I thought about 8 unforgettable weight loss foods. And using the word unforgettable, when I looked at the definition, it said things that are indelibly impressed upon our memory. So that goes again to this whole process of talking to you about being transformers. We're transforming the way we think about our health and wellness by the constant renewing of our mind. We're constantly keeping an openness to bringing in new information that's going to help maximize our health and well-being. It also says in that definition, scenes of unforgettable beauty. This is unforgettable, scenes of unforgettable beauty. And what looks more beautiful than a body that is well balanced, a body that is well energized, a body that sleeps well, a body that functions properly? That is a beautiful thing. The scripture talks to us about that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So, and it also says in Ecclesiastes that God has made everything beautiful in its time. So you and I, as we follow the state of how God made us to operate, how God made us to function, we are beautiful. And so a part of that is tapping into what He has placed in the earth, what God has put in the earth for us to use as food, and use that food to help manifest beauty and wellness in our bodies. Good morning, Yvette. Good morning, classmate. Thank you for joining. So I wanted to talk about just our foundation scripture here, just to kind of motivate you, you know, that there are principles that God has put in place that we can tap into to force a maximize health or any area that we're believing for in terms of an inheritance that God gave us. So the one I thought about today was Hebrews 12:1 and 2. Since we have a bunch of folks that have gone on before us, that have learned how to take care of themselves, who've lived long and a healthy life. I believe within the past week, the oldest gentleman in the world, I think it was 117, just passed on. So there were things obviously that he did. That's a very unique testimony in this day and time. There were things that he did that helped him tap into that level of longevity. And so that is part of our promise that we have in God. So since there's, going back to Hebrews 12:1 and 2, since there have been other folks, there are examples, we read about them in the newspaper, or, you know, we hear about them through friends. Since there are other folks who've lived a long and strong life, then let us make a decision. This is Hebrews 12:1 and 2. I'm doing a little translation here. Let us strip off every unnecessary weight, and the sin or missing the mark or missing the way that God does things, which does so easily and cleverly entangles us. So that's usually that cheap treat that tripped us up at dinner, or, you know, out to our favorite special event, and we know we went a little bit too far. Let us, and instead of letting these things trip us up, and instead of letting these foods trip us up, let us run with this race of life with endurance and active persistence. So again, that talks about we have to be consistent. We have to make these decisions on a day-by-day, meal-by-meal basis, so that long-term we consistently are manifesting those long-term goals that we're looking to have. It says we're going to do that through active persistence, the race that God has set before us. And the way we're going to do it, and we've talked about this on previous sessions, is that we're looking to the ultimate personal trainer. We're going back to the owner's manual. We're going back to the original training manual, figuring out how we are made, and then aligning our day-to-day activities with the way that God purposed and planned for us to function. And that's how we tap into maximize life and living. It also says another scripture here in Matthew 11 and 28, God's telling us, and this is confirming again, that we have a personal trainer in life to teach us how to succeed, to help us succeed. It says in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are struggling hard," this is the CEB translation, "all you who are struggling hard and carrying heavy loads, and I will give you rest." So this is another promise of God, that we're not meant to carry heavy loads. We're not meant to be struggling through life, struggling with weight, struggling to stay off medication, struggling to stay well. That is not God's purpose or plan for our lives. He said that what we have to do, however, is that we have to make a decision that we're going to come to Him and do things His way. And then it says here that He would give us rest. He would give us rest for our mind, our will, emotions, our intellect, and our imagination. Good morning, Haj. Thank you for joining. So it's all a consistent process of deciding every day when we wake up, or every day when we sit down to a meal, or every day when it's time to work out, that we choose to do things God's way so that we get His results. So again, talking about 8 unforgettable foods, obviously things that God made, God put in the earth for us to eat or consume, that are weight loss foods for runners. And not only runners, but anyone who's looking to kind of keep their weight in check. So hopefully this is going to be a big help to you. These are things that I kind of incorporate or try to be mindful of incorporating in my diet on a day-by-day basis, just so I can keep myself well balanced. So the first thing in terms of unforgettable foods are avocados. And I'm going to do it initially for runners, but again, I think this connects with anybody. Avocados. So avocados, and I know a lot of time people are a little hesitant because they're like, oh, they have a lot of fat in them, but it's good fat. It's mono unsaturated fat. And so our brains need, we don't want to go without fat altogether. Our brains need fat, our bodies need a certain amount of fat, but it should be good fat, not saturated fat. Not, something that was created in a laboratory, but avocados have good fats. And another benefit is that they actually have more potassium than a banana. So a cup of sliced avocado contains almost twice as much potassium as one would find in a whole banana. Now this is beneficial for runners because a lot of us runners, or when you're active, you want to have a banana to restore potassium that is coming out of your body from sweating when you're out on the course of a workout. And if you're not restoring that potassium, not restoring that sodium, you're going to find that your muscles are going to get achy and your whole workout is going to begin to break down. First Lady Vanessa Dukes, thank you for joining. Good morning, Kashilia from New York. Thank you for joining. So avocados are even better than bananas in putting potassium in your body. It also has electrolytes, avocados do, that help you run harder or function a lot more productive during the day. Particularly if you tend to perspire a lot, avocados are something good that you want to add to the diet. And it's also good for refueling yourself after you run. Now, these were some new tips that I had learned about avocados. One thing that I knew from before is that avocados have a lot of anti-inflammatories. And so if you're having problems with, overcoming creaky joints, or you have a lot of lactic acid buildup and your muscles are kind of achy, avocados are something great for your diet. And just in general, if you're feeling sort of out of sorts, avocados are great. I try to have some type of guacamole or put avocados in a salad. Sometimes I put avocados in a smoothie in the morning, just to give me some extra texture, so that I'm constantly doing as much as I can to rebuild my body, to rebuild my immune system, to keep me healthy and strong. So that's one great food in addition to the banana. So you have an option there. Number one, avocados. Now, number two is water. Now, I know water is not a food, but it is super important to our nutrition. I know we've talked about this on other talks that we've had here. Particularly for runners or those that are active, water is super important. Our brain is more than 60% water. Our lungs are more than 60% water. You know, we can go without eating for a few days, but we cannot go without having water. The whole system would shut down. So this is what we want to make sure we're prioritizing and staying mindful of on our day-to-day. If we're looking to keep our weight under control, water is definitely another area that we want to keep our eye on. Just a 1%, now here's a nice fact here, just a 1% decrease in our level of hydration, this is not only for runners, but anybody in general reduces performance. So this is not only your run performance, but if you're thinking about day to day, good morning Tiffany, thank you for joining. If you're thinking about you're in the office or you have a lot of, a lot of thought processes you're working through when you're in the office, being dehydrated is going to decrease your level of performance. So we want to be aware that we're staying hydrated throughout the day. And I believe we talked about last week, you want to drink half of your body weight in ounces in water. So just a 1% decrease, that's like nothing, but it reduces performance. And when your performance takes a dive, then so does your level of calorie burn. And so none of us want to shoot ourselves in the foot. So to that end, I know it's not necessarily enjoyable, but you can put some mint in the water. Good morning, Lisa from LA. Thank you. I think you must be sending us some California weather, Lisa, because we're finally having spring here in Chicago. So thank you so much. One of our Elijah alumni has moved out to the West Coast. So if we're decreased with dehydration, now it's slowing down our level of calorie burn, and nobody wants that. And if we're looking to tone up, it's also slowing down our ability to build muscle. Now, here's a way that you can tell for runners or those that are active that you are dehydrated. You need to work on your water consumption more. Particularly for runners, you want to weigh yourself before you go out for a run, and then weigh yourself after you come back in. So if you lose more than 1% of your body weight from sweating during one of your workouts, then you are a candidate who needs to keep a much closer eye on keeping yourself properly hydrated. So if you're looking to lose weight, something definitely you want to bump up or stay on top of is water consumption. And there's, just all sorts of creative ways now. You can, cut up a few slices of strawberries in there. You can do lemon, you can do lime, you can do mint, you can do cucumber, because, sometimes we're not quickly open to the idea of drinking water. But what I want to share on some of these talks is to motivate you the benefits of these various foods or these benefits of these various habits will cause you to want to do them so much that you'll begin to think creatively how you can add them to your fitness plan so you can get the results and maintain the results that God has purposed and planned for you to have. So that's two foods, avocado, water. Our number three, which I could do better with the water thing. We could all do better with the water. Number three are frozen berries. Frozen berries. I am the poster child for frozen berries. I have my smoothie right here. These are mixed frozen berries I have in here, and I have another ingredient in here that I'll talk about a little bit later. It's good for weight loss. But I do frozen berries. You can buy these anywhere. I usually go to Trader Joe's. They have, I'm a bargain hunter when it comes to food shopping. And so they have a great price on those. I like just to keep some variety instead of just getting blueberries or just getting strawberries. I like to get the blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. So I get a little sweet and I get a little tart. So it gives a little creative ability. She's back in Boston. All right. Okay. All right. Go ahead, East Coast. Um, so, frozen berries. As a runner, it's important to understand oxidative damage. So, typically, when you're out, you're working out, this whole process of oxidation, it's a biological process that stresses your body when oxygen is used to break down food for energy. Now, that's part of our body, the fueling process or whatever. But the great thing about frozen berries is that they have antioxidants, and the reason why you want to avoid this oxidative state, the more that builds up, it builds up stress in the body, and it puts us out of balance where our immune system is compromised, and it puts us in a vulnerability zone for sickness and disease. So we want to be on top of consuming foods that are constantly antioxidants, that are helping our immune system rebuild itself, that's helping our body to protect itself from sickness and disease. So frozen berries are something that I do on a regular basis. And here's a tip that I didn't know. I did a little study this morning that frozen berries are richer in vitamins and nutrients than doing fresh. Frozen berries are richer in vitamins and minerals than doing fresh mixed berries. And which was funny for me because usually I'd feel guilty. I'm thinking, oh, I should probably go to the market and get the fresh ones because they're most alive, although I really like the icy crunch of having frozen berries. So I was very excited to see this in my research this morning. But again, these are some easy things that you can add to your smoothies, that either morning or night, or you could do some frozen berries that you're, I don't know, putting on your hot oatmeal. Think of creative ways that you can add some of these things. And these are no-brainers. These are things you can, add to maybe some of your current recipes that'll just take it up a notch, that'll help align you with moving in the direction of maintaining your health and fitness goals. So that's 3 so far: avocados, water, and frozen berries. And when it also talks about antioxidants, having more antioxidants in your system is great for runners, again, because it keeps down inflammation. A lot of sickness and disease in the body is caused by inflammation, about things being out of order, things being out of sync. So the more we put foods in our body that subdue inflammation, the more that we can keep sickness and disease far, far, far away from us. Now, number 4 in unforgettable foods, weight loss foods for runners or anyone else who's looking to stay active would be nuts. Apart from the fact that they're, filled with protein, fiber, and unsaturated fat. Again, that's good fat. All of us need a little good fat. Good morning, Michelle Yates. Thank you for joining. All of us need a little good fats. Nuts, again, are another partner that are good for inflammation. So again, for runners or those who are staying active, it keeps your joints from feeling achy after you're done. The protein and the fiber gives you a feeling of satiation, so you feel satisfied, so you're less likely to overeat. That's a big thing. That's a big trick, starting to feed ourselves foods that have a great amount of fiber that can naturally help tell us that we are satisfied before we go overboard, before our eyes look at something and make us go overboard. Good morning, Deborah. Thank you so much for joining. So I'm a big fan of nuts. I want to make sure I'm getting all my notes here. The thing that you want to keep in mind with nuts, again, talking about this whole concept of staying well balanced, is not having too much. Because, if you're like me, they're pretty bland tasting, so it's easy to think, the more the better. But you do want to keep it in balance. The average goal that you want to stay in terms of nuts is about a handful of nuts per day. Now, couple easy creative ways that I do that. I'm going to pick up my smoothie again here. I always try to put some kind of nut butter in my smoothie in the morning. So this particular one has bananas, organic, apple, the frozen mixed berries from Trader Joe's, I'm big on nut milk, so I have almond milk, unsweetened vanilla, silk unsweetened vanilla, and then I have my nut butter in here, not only to provide some protein, not only to provide some healthy fats, but again, reduce inflammation after a workout. I went and ran for a little bit this morning, and also keep my weight in check. Actually, this is the birthday week this week, so I'm turning 52, thank you God, this week. So it makes you more and more aware of, like, you got to do something. We have to take personal responsibility in doing something about our health and well-being. Otherwise, you know, you can become I mean, I remember we had cabinets in the kitchen that were just set aside for medication. And so thank God, by learning these principles, I've been able to turn around that inheritance for myself and for my family members. So that is something I really want to be able to pass on and share with you guys. In terms of nut butters, there's a lot out there. I've used Jason for a while. That's another great brand that they have at a lot of stores. This one isn't in as many stores. Typically, you'll find this more in a health food store. Oh, I need to turn it over. I forgot they make the container a little bit different. This brand is called Nutso. So it has 7 different nuts and seeds that are put in here. So again, having a little variety is always good. You know, having something that's a little bit saltier with something that's a little bit more bland is great. And again, putting this in my smoothie with all these other ingredients is a way to get myself satisfied. It's a very well-balanced meal to have in the morning. Oh, sidebar. Now, if we're looking to stay, weight loss is our thing, or keep our weight in check, it's important that we eat consistently. I know a lot of times when people start with the weight loss, they're thinking, I can't afford to eat breakfast, and so they're starting to skip meals, or, you know, I get busy during the course of the day and I don't have a lunch. It is like mandatory. Let me get closer on the screen. It is super mandatory that you do not skip meals. If weight loss is your thing, you don't want to skip meals. Now, we talked about in some of the previous things, now this isn't even on my notes, but this just came through as I was thinking. We've talked about that our body likes to be on cycles. It likes to have things at a certain time, almost like when you're a baby. Like babies, like they want to be fed every couple of hours. They want consistency. Our body is made the same way. So when we start to skip meals, whether it's breakfast, whether it's lunch, our body starts to think, I might starve because this person isn't giving me the vitamins, the nutrients, the energy that I need on a regular basis. And so it shuts down and it sends a signal to the body that I'm going to store everything as fat. So if you are looking to keep your weight in check, you have to think of creative ways so that you're eating on a regular basis. Every couple of hours, you know, you have breakfast, and then you maybe have a smaller snack, a handful of nuts. Then you have lunch, then another snack, then a dinner, and then maybe another small snack. But you want to eat on a consistent basis, because once your body, my body, knows that it's going to have some food on a regular basis, it'll set up a signal that'll say, hey, you can release all this fat because I know they're going to give me some energy on a regular basis. I don't have to worry about it. So skipping meals is not the way you want to go, whether it's a runner or anybody in general, is not the way you want to go if you're looking to kind of keep your weight in check. So that's nut butters, avocados, waters, frozen berries, nuts. We're halfway there. Want to maximize your time. Whole grains. Whole grains. Now, the reason this is beneficial, that the body stores carbs as energy. Our body uses, because whole grains are carbs. Good morning, Maureen. Thank you for joining. Best-selling author, Maureen Oliver. And her daughter, best-selling author, Ebony Oliver. I guess Robert's going to come out with something very soon. That it just runs in the genes there in the family. So I digress, sorry. Okay, so whole grains. The body stores the carbs that are in whole grains in our muscles and our liver as glycogen. So it uses that for energy for high-intensity activity or high-intensity exercise. What we want to do is be more mindful of the types of whole grain that we consume. We want to make sure that they are gluten-free. We want to make sure that they are as all natural and not highly processed. Now, some things you may want to consider in terms of whole grains, great weight loss foods, are things like quinoa, which I have quite often. It's a great carb, but it also has a lot of protein in it. So, when I'm looking for a meal that's closer to the time that I go to bed, or I need something that's not going to feel heavy on my stomach, maybe I have a bunch of meetings that I'm going to be in afterwards and I don't want to feel like I'm dragging the rest of the day, quinoa is a phenomenal option. You can just use it a variety of ways. You can put it in a salad. You can heat it up and put it, with steamed vegetables. Bulgur wheat, oats, steel cut oats you could do, or amaranth, are some great options in some whole grains that are very lean, giving your body some energy, but also going to keep your weight in check. Number 6, I try to use this all the time, and this is to keep my weight in check as it comes to too much dessert consumption. I do believe in cheat treats, but sometimes you realize there's subconscious motives right there. So you're regularly programming myself like, yeah, you don't need that many cheat treats. Don't kid yourself. So sweet potatoes are a great option for keeping the weight in check. It's a great healthy carb, complex carbohydrate, and complex meaning that it's a sugar or it's an energy source that burns very long and even in our body. But it's very natural, so it helps keep our sugar, it helps keep our insulin levels in check, which is a great benefit. A cup of sweet mashed potatoes, and my mouth is watering saying the words, contains 58 grams of carbohydrates, which will easily fuel us for an hour for a workout. And it's a great source instead of some of the processed running gels that are out there, or processed exercise gels. Again, it won't cause those spikes in sugar or spikes in insulin level. It's a lot more balanced, and it lasts, as an energy level, it lasts a lot longer. Now, a way, again, keeping your weight in check that I use sweet potatoes is I'll have them as a part of the meal and tell myself, really enjoy the mashed sweet potatoes, with the cinnamon and all those good things, and think of the mashed sweet potato as a dessert and try to use that as a deterrent so that I don't end up always getting a slice of cake or pie after the meal. So again, all of this weight maintenance is about strategy and maintaining consistent strategy in our day-to-day living. So that's a sweet potato. Number 7 would be, and this is on the Mediterranean diet, more all natural, would be hummus and veggies. Again, hummus is made out of chickpeas, which is a great protein substitute. It also fights hunger and gives us a feeling of satisfaction. That's so that we don't eat too much. Also balances our sugar levels. So if you're overcoming diabetes or that's an issue for you, it's another way where you can stay well balanced. So you can notice over the course of this talk, these are all things, all foods that God's placed in the earth that can help us stay well balanced. Because when we're well balanced, our body's at this optimal level. Good morning, Iris. Thank you for joining. When we do things in terms of our living that keep us in balance, our body naturally keeps sickness and disease out. It keeps it out because we're operating God's principles within our body. So back to hummus. Hummus boosts energy because it contains iron, and I know a lot of for our ladies who are active, our lady runners, you have to really be aware of your iron levels. Becoming anemic is not an issue for you. So a great option with that is hummus. You can have this for a snack. You can have it as part of your lunch. Obviously, having it with some fresh vegetables. Now you're adding some things, cruciferous vegetables with some fiber to help you feel more satisfied. Actually, some antioxidants in the vegetables. So now you're putting together this healthy combination that's going to help keep disease, keep overeating out of your fitness plan. Good morning, Dr. Parker. Thank you for joining me. So what else? Did I give any of the benefits? Also adding veggies with your hummus. Veggies are also high in vitamin C. So again, something that's boosting our immune system, that keeps sickness and disease out of our body. A great option. So that is number 7. And just wanted to review for those who've hopped on. We're talking about 8 unforgettable weight loss foods for runners. So we mentioned avocados, water, frozen berries, nuts, whole grains, sweet potatoes, hummus and veggies, and our number 8 are chia seeds. Chia seeds. Now, the benefit that I really like about these, and actually I just yesterday had, I was out having a salad. I just put some chia seeds on the salad. That was an easy way to kind of add it to without really thinking about it that much. Chia seeds are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. So again, healthy fats, we also need those. Calcium and iron. So again, to keep down the chance of becoming anemic, here's another option for you, the chia seeds. Chia is great because it kind of acts like a sponge. So it's absorbing sugar and it stabilizes our blood sugar levels. It has a great high fiber content. As a matter of fact, the chia seeds can hold up to 20 times their weight in water. So you may have seen at your local Walmart or grocer, there's a brand called Mama Chia. And I choose this drink rather often. They have strawberry, blackberry, citrus flavors drinks, and you'll see it almost looks like rice pudding in it, or almost like a jello that hasn't gelled fully yet, with the little seeds in it. So that is a great option. Good morning, Team McAfee. Thank you for joining. So that's a great option to help feel satisfied, a great source of protein, a great source of fiber that you can add. Again, as I said, I put it on my salad yesterday. I usually try to once a day. There happened to be a Walmart near where I head into work, one of my other jobs. Okay. 7 streams of income, but that's a sidebar right there. Where I try to get a chia drink at least once a day. So again, what we want to think about is adding some of these healthy foods to our day-to-day food choices, so that as we're enjoying our food, as we're energizing our body, we're also simultaneously cooperating with God's plan of health and wellness for our life, so that we can live long and healthy. I gotta say, almost all of these, I try to incorporate at least 2 to 3 of them per day, and I think now it's just become, sort of a subconscious thing, because I've kind of known the benefits, that I'm always trying to figure out ways to bring them into my diet. If we happen to go out to eat for dinner, I'm regularly reading the menu, trying to see if any of these ingredients that I know that are healthy for me are in any of the recipes for the restaurants that we go to. So I really want to encourage you guys, stay open, be creative, because a lot of times it's about, bringing foods into your diet that you may not have thought are great possibilities, and not necessarily eating them because they taste the best, making that the highest priority, or it's the brightest color, but you're eating them because you know that God said you're supposed to live long and healthy, and this food is made to help you get there. And so that for me is a motivation, like, I'll try it, and maybe there's a way I can doctor it up or put something in it that's going to, help me live long and strong. Running in some chia seeds. Flax seeds too, yes, First Lady Vanessa, both of those. And again, you can, get those in a variety of ways. You can get those raw, the Mama Chia, and the reason I mentioned Walmart, I think out of the places that carry the Mama Chia drinks, the Walmart is like the cheapest. But don't tell them that, because I think if they found out, they would bump the price up an extra $1 or so. But it's just creative, on the go, thing that you can always once you get the chia seeds and once you get the flax seeds, you can put that in a little bag and carry it around with you. So the course of having your meals during the day, you can just sprinkle it on. Chia flaxseed oil is great too. Again, you want to make sure that it's as naturally processed as possible, so that it maintains its integrity and a high level of performance. But again, just want to run through these for you guys, just to give you some creative ideas. Avocado, water, avocado, lots of potassium, lots of electrolytes, great anti-inflammatory. Water, hydration is key. Our minds, our brains are more than 60% water. Our lungs are more than 60% water. If we want to function at a high level and not slow down or feel like the program is spinning, we have an internal spin going on in our body, we want to increase our level of water intake, half of our body weight in ounces per water per day. Frozen berries, add them where you can, whenever and wherever you can. Frozen berries, again, are a great antioxidant, keeping down sickness and disease, keeping ourselves well balanced. Nuts, and I'm thinking things like almonds, things like walnuts, definitely, for those who have the allergic reaction for peanuts, because we've talked before. And a lot of that is in the harvesting process. They're put in silos, and the silos, while they're waiting to be brought in, sometimes mold develops, and so a lot of times people have a reaction to the mold. So when I'm thinking about nuts, I'm thinking about almond butters, nut butters in that way. Whether you're eating them raw, over the roasted, or whether you're having them in nut butter that you're adding to a sandwich, very satisfying. Number 5, whole grains. Again, quinoa is a great option. Bulgur wheat, steel cut oatmeal. Baked sweet potato is like my go-to to keep me from having too many desserts over the course of the week or the month, keeping that weight in check. Hummus, another great protein substitute. Again, high in vitamin C with the fresh veggies in there. Chickpeas is what hummus is made out of. So obviously a Mediterranean diet, you could put a little virgin olive oil over the hummus, makes for a great meal, makes for a great snack, because you're thinking as you're getting closer to bedtime, you want a meal that's very easy for your body to break down. So that you're not leaving undigested food in your system. And last but not least, chia seeds, high in omega-3 fatty acids, iron, calcium, and again, it holds a lot of water. So if you're working again on your hydration plan, not as a substitute for drinking water, but in addition to getting some of those Mama Chia drinks or the brand of your choice, so that you can maintain your level of hydration. So these are 8 unforgettable foods, and the reason I really keep in mind, maybe even writing these things down, so that over the course of the day, when we're making food choices, we're making choices not just to have something to eat or not to have something to enjoy. We're making choices with every meal of putting things in our body to reinforce health and longevity. So again, this is General Darnell. This is our Wellness Wednesday talk, talking about 8 unforgettable weight loss foods for runners and anybody looking to stay active, which should be every last one of us. Please feel free to reach out to me on social media. It's General Darnell _. That's General Darnell _. Or you can email me at ElijahRunningClub.org or faithandfitnessrace.com. Please feel free to share this with your followers. All of us could use a little more help, a little more encouragement on how to maximize our health and well-being. This is one of the few things that we were not taught in school. I do not understand why, but you only have one body. We only have one body, and so the better we take care of it, the better we can fulfill the purpose and the plan that God has for our lives. Thank you all so much for joining. I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a great week. Have a great day. Be well, and let's live the life that God has called for us to live. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.